Live from Fox 5, welcome to the News Block.
And here are the top stories on the News Block. A crucial court hearing for Luigi Mangione as he fights to exclude evidence from his murder trial. He's accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, and we've got a rundown of the testimonies so far. Plus, we're tracking winter weather, rain, snow, and ice all barreling toward the tri-state, when it's going to start, and what to expect for tomorrow's commute. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sharon Crowley. Thanks so much for joining us for the News Block. We begin, though, with a Fox 5 weather alert. No matter where you live in the tri-state, you can bank on a cold, miserable, messy day tomorrow. That about describes it, right? Let's bring in Liv Johnson and the Weather Center. Liv, at least it wasn't the day before Thanksgiving or Sunday when this hit us.
Right. Most people were able to travel freely. And I mean, right now we had that live picture up. It's a pretty nice sunset. Today, not so bad. But yeah, let's get right to it. We have a winter storm watch for a lot of the area. Winter storm warning for Sullivan, Ulster, and Dutchess County starting tonight and ending tomorrow night. So I want you to pay attention to this line right here. This pretty much marks exactly where we're expecting the difference to be between rain to the south and snow to the north. So Sussex County, kind of the northwest corner of New Jersey, expecting snow. Really in Manhattan, Long Island, most of Connecticut, we're not expecting snowfall. That doesn't mean we couldn't see some flurries, maybe a light dusting, but it looks more and more like we are just going to see rainfall. Again, just looking at this line, most of New Jersey is in the clear. It's just going to be a lot of rain. I mean, as Sharon said, it's just going to be messy and miserable overall. Today, not so much. We can't even really see that system that's making its way through the Midwest and creating some mess for that area, but it is on its way, trust me. We'll see increasing cloud cover late tonight, but at least we get through today unscathed. Starting really, really early tomorrow, I'd say 3 to 4 a.m. That's when we could start to see some snow sneak up in Sullivan, Ulster, Dutchess County, those places under a winter storm warning. But we will start to see rainfall pretty early as well. I think our commute will be a little bit messy. But here's that line that I was talking about. This is that wintry mix with the pink color. Green is, of course, rainfall. And then we have snowfall to the north. And then it becomes a little bit more widespread rain as we get into the afternoon hours. Of course, as temperatures warm up, it's harder for that snow to stay frozen all the way till the ground. So a lot of us will end up having just mainly rain in a wintry mix for the late afternoon hours. But still, we're looking at a pretty significant amount of snowfall, a couple inches, 2 to 6 for places like Poughkeepsie, Monticello. Sussex will get some snowfall. I know nothing's showing up for our future snowfall graphic right now, but I do think that Sussex County will get some snowfall, and then the rest of us, just a whole lot of rain. So yeah, messy Tuesday ahead, Sharon.
All right, thanks, Liv. All right, now to our other top story. Luigi Mangione in court right now for a pretrial hearing. His lawyers are pushing to exclude some evidence from his murder trial. Fox 5's Lisa Evers is outside the courthouse right now with what's happening. Lisa.
Well, Sharon, today the judge listened to testimony from witnesses from Pennsylvania who were involved in the events leading up to the arrest of Luigi Mangione. A lot is on the line in this pre-trial hearing. What's decided here could determine whether he beats the murder charges or whether he spends the rest of his life behind bars. Ivy League graduate and alleged CEO killer Luigi Mangione was back in criminal court today, fighting to have key evidence kept from his upcoming murder trial. Last September, a judge threw out state terrorism charges against Mangione. Now he's facing second-degree murder charges for the assassination last December of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Midtown Manhattan. Mangione's defense team requested the hearing to get key evidence that ties him directly to the crime, like the gun and his manifesto, kept out of the trial. His defense team claiming cops in Altoona, Pennsylvania, questioned him for 17 minutes before he was read his Miranda rights, and that what they found in his backpack, namely a gun and writings described as his manifesto, violated his constitutional rights and should not be admitted as evidence. Here's top criminal defense attorney Philip Hamilton.
I mean, for the state charges, this is a critically important hearing because it sets the stage for whether the evidence, including the notebook, which included the alleged manifesto, and also some of the statements that were allegedly made at the time that he was initially arrested, it determines whether or not those are coming in or whether they're coming out of a trial. So a very important decision that the judge has to make in this particular juncture. And at this point, we're going to wait and see what happens.
Now, prosecutors argued that the journals and the writings should be admitted as evidence because they say they detailed the plan to kill CEO Brian Thompson. This pretrial hearing is actually expected to last for several days here at Manhattan Criminal Court. Reporting live from Lower Manhattan, I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News. Sharon, back to you.
Lisa, what are the defense's chances of getting Mangione's statements and the backpack evidence excluded from this case? Any sense of it?
Well, the lawyers, we've spoken to several criminal defense attorneys throughout the day today who are familiar with the case about that very possibility, and they said there's something of a chance because he was allowed to talk, Sharon, for 17 minutes in Pennsylvania when the police there arrested him before they actually read him his rights. That's a very long time. And then also in terms of the writings, the backpack, they're trying to argue apparently that there was exigent circumstances, meaning there was an urgent need to check what was in the backpack without waiting for a search warrant to be issued because he could have had a bomb in there. And in fact, what they did find was what they believe is what prosecutors say was the murder weapon. Sharon?
All right, Lisa, thank you so much for that. Keep us posted. Well, a court hearing in the Eitan Pates case has been adjourned until Friday. Attorneys appeared briefly for a status conference this morning after the Manhattan DA announced last week that he's planning to retry the case. Pedro Hernandez is the suspect accused of kidnapping and killing the 6-year-old boy back in 1979. He was found guilty of Eitan's murder in 2017, but that conviction was overturned after an appeals court found errors in how a judge responded to a jury's questions about his confession. His lawyers say he's innocent.
Well, we're going to be preparing for the third trial in this matter, and we're going to be focusing on the confessions or the statements that were made that the Second Circuit relied on as being unreliable. And that's why they sent this case back.
Prosecutors say available evidence supports a retrial. A new trial must begin, though, before June 1st, or Hernandez will be released. And developing news right now, President Trump will meet with his national security team today to discuss strikes off Venezuela. Reports say the meeting is expected to take place at 5 o'clock in the Oval Office, less than an hour from now. It comes as the U.S. has increased pressure on Venezuela with strikes on drug vessels and a military asset buildup in the region. Now, the U.S. military has amassed more than a dozen warships and 15,000 troops in the Caribbean as part of what the Pentagon has branded Operation Southern Spear. A U.S. appeals court rules that former Trump lawyer Alina Habba is disqualified as New Jersey's top federal prosecutor. The panel of judges from the 3rd U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Philadelphia sided with a lower court in their ruling. Now, that judge heard oral arguments from Habba on October 20th. The ruling comes amid the push by the Trump administration to keep Habba as the acting U.S. attorney for New Jersey. The judges questioned the government's moves to keep Habba in place after her interim appointment expired and without getting Senate's confirmation. New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders showing support today for striking Starbucks workers.
What do we want? A contract! When do we want it? Now!
They joined employees on the picket line outside a Starbucks in Park Slope. Starbucks Workers United, which represents baristas at about 550 chains across the country, went on strike November 13th to protest a lack of progress in contract negotiations. Starbucks has said it offers the best wage and benefit package in retail. Today's rally came as New York City officials announced that Starbucks will pay out $35 million to settle claims from a 2022 investigation that the company denied stable schedules and arbitrarily cut hours.